without further ado, Rae Matthews.
Oh wow, not kidding. I brought notes because I have ADD, so otherwise I'll just go on rambling on tangents about oranges and anacondas and things. Okay, well, your fear day, yeah. So my story. I've always loved to write, loved to draw. I'm a creative person. In the mid-90s or so, I got really into comics. And I always wanted to do one of my own. I had a ton of ideas. I still have tons and tons and tons of ideas. One of them was about a pair of guys from turn of the century London who die and then go to the afterlife and then get brought back to life 100 years later, so our time, only now they're part demon. That's my story. Obviously it's ridiculous, but I kind of wanted to explore issues of faith and morality and the divide between religion and science and all that. Personally, my own personal beliefs, I believe in evolution, I believe in the Big Bang, I believe in science, I believe in all of that. I don't think that there's a bearded giant in the sky controlling everything that we do, because that doesn't make any sense. But that doesn't mean that there isn't something behind the idea, and I've always sort of been caught by this, you know, the image of the big bearded man in the sky is just an image that represents an idea, just like a word represents an idea. And in this case, the word is God, and God is the word, and the whole, you know, the idea that scripture is this, it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, this thing that you take as being absolutely factually accurate, but is rather a shared narrative that's a part of our culture, and therefore is a part of everyone, which kind of makes it really important. The way I figure it is art and science and religion, they're all telling the same story, which is why we're here, how the universe works, what our purpose is. They're all seeking some kind of truth, but I have friends that are religious, I have friends that are atheists, I have friends that are somewhere in between, and it seems like we all get so hung up on this nature of this signifier that we totally miss the truth that it's trying to signify. And I don't mean empirical fact, I mean like the capital T, truth. And that's, I guess, without sounding too pretentious, what I'm kind of trying to get at. If God's an idea, and science is an idea, and science and religion tell stories, then nothing is more powerful than an idea. Nothing is more important than sharing it. Nothing defines us or unites us quite as well as telling our stories, sharing our stories. So I decided I needed to write a story. And I did. Well, I'm trying to. You go to my Indiegogo site, you can help me do it. So I decided I'm finally going to do this. Finally going to try to work on this thing that I've been trying to do since I was a teenager. And what Todd helped me realize was that the reason I hadn't done it yet wasn't because I hadn't worked out all the details yet, or I'm still working on my drawing style or whatever. No, it's because I'm afraid. I'm afraid I won't be able to get across everything that I want to say. I'm afraid I won't do justice to my ideas. I'm afraid that I'm going to fail. I'm afraid it's going to be terrible, and I'm afraid no one will get it. And I'm afraid. The way I figure it is, it's a scary world out there, especially for the type of story that I'm trying to tell. It's a world full of religious fanatics, and self-righteous atheists, and critics. And that is a very scary place for a creative person. As long as my idea, my story is in my head, it's safe, because it belongs only to me. So no one else can touch it with their grubby little fingers and tell me that it's no good, or that I should change it, or that that style is so last year. No one can, even worse, think it's really good and make a terrible Hollywood movie adaptation of it that ruins the whole premise entirely. That's like my worst fear. But most importantly, as long as I'm not trying, I'm not screwing it up. Which is why I haven't tried, because trying is the first step towards failure. But I followed that fear, and here I am. And I have learned things along the way. 3 lessons specifically come to mind. 1, not everything you do has to be the best all the time. Sometimes it just needs to be the best that you can do, and that's good enough. It doesn't always have to be super perfect. 2nd, if something is worth thinking about and obsessing over for 17 years, it's probably worth trying to actually do at least once. And 3rd, if you are going to illustrate a richly detailed comic book, for God's sake, do not give your characters feathers. They take forever to draw. Seriously. So that brings me back to the comic book, which is the reason I'm standing up here. It's called Testament. And the first issue, I'm still working on it. It was supposed to be done today. That was ridiculous. Of course I wasn't going to get it done today, but it's close. So it'll be done by next month, and I'll have it printed and published-ish and ready to buy, and you can go to my blog or my Indiegogo, which hasn't gone live yet, but it will very shortly. I have cards that you can pick up if you want, and put your name on the mailing list. I put a mailing list out there somewhere. I can't even see who's doing it. Yeah, and let me know if you want to follow the progress, pick up the first issue, and all of that. It's a story about life and death and angels and demons and beer. Lots of beer. A lot of drinking going on in it, because they live in England. Come on. And obviously. So, yeah, that's it. I have my progress done so far, if you wanted to have a look, or do what Paul did, because it has no dialogue yet, so you can just look at the pictures and make up your own. And who knows, it might be better. Alright, that's it.